becoming a professional bass player. My name's Deborah and this is the video journal of my career transition. Tomorrow is the first live gig that we play with Truly Red. All of that work and rehearsal and practice has to come to bear fruit at the Palace Hotel in Southend. They've been on the phone this morning. They're really pleased with the bookings. So I've been postering like mad and putting up flyers and telling everybody about it, as have the rest of the band. And they're doing pretty well. So there should be a nice audience there for our Valentine's Day Simply Red tribute. And actually, I was told this morning, Dom Chica Mo, who's our percussionist in Divine Funk, was telling me that actually it was on Valentine's Day, and I think it was 1989, 1988, 1989, someone will correct me, but it was something like the 3rd of February that It's Only Love came out as a single. Of course, that would have been a great Valentine's single at the time. Really sexy song. We were looking at that in our last episode. But I opened today with Money's Too Tight, and increasingly I'm interested in the power of muted notes. Now these are written on the tab as an X. I'll put a little picture up to show you that. And what that means, when I see that X, it means I play the note, but I don't let it ring out, and I keep it muted. So I keep my finger here, but I'm not pressing down. My finger's on the fretboard, but it's not pressing down. So it makes a sort of, you know, a funky little sound. So if I were to let it ring, if I were to press down, you'd get, apologies if the sound's not so great. I've got my amp here that's kind of sort of making its way to the speakers on my iPhone. So that's pressed down and that's muted. And the third note on Money's Too Tight is muted. So, and again, so it's that. And whilst I sort of might be drawing your attention to something quite small, or it might seem like it's quite small, it's those little features that make a bass line hook you and grab you. You know, this is a really gritty song. He's singing, I've been laid off of work, my rent is due, my kids all need brand new shoes. And there's not many pop songs that get to the top of the charts that have those sorts of lyrics and talk about that level of realness that Mick Hucknall was offering in 1985 when he was writing those songs. You know, he came from the north of England and times were very different up there, that increasing sort of polarisation between the state of things in the north and the south. And that bass line helps to sort of pull you in. And it was, muted notes are often used by John Taylor in Duran Duran, particularly in songs like Rio. So for example, that's a very busy bass line. And he's using all those muted notes there to create a really funky sound in Duran Duran's Rio. So I'll be adding plenty of those in to the Truly Red gig on Saturday. Wednesday was quite special. So our Mick Hucknall, Mark, and I went down to the Jazz Mix at Chalkwell Park Rooms because Roberto Restuccia's band was playing, and I'd never heard his music before. It's really good and by all accounts very popular in America. And in his band is Orefo, who is the bass player for Simply Red. So my purpose for going down there was twofold, really. Firstly, I've got to see the bass player of Simply Red up close and personal and live and in a different setting. And also, I could, you know, my marketer's hat on, where are you going to find a collection of people in Southend who like Simply Red? Maybe at a gig that the bass player is playing. So Mark and I took some flyers along, and I was so nervous. Appreciating the fact that Orefo has only recently joined Simply Red, he's still a member of Simply Red. And I was really worried that, projecting onto him actually something that I probably think myself, which is, who are you to impersonate Simply Red? How dare you? So I was really worried, and my heart was actually beating irregularly. I was like, oh dear, am I actually going to make it to the gig? I was just, yeah, it was a really big deal. And we met him. What a thoroughly lovely chap. He couldn't be nicer. So squeezable. Gives a really good, lovely hug, does Orefo. And such a nice man. In actual fact, he was very much more interested in what I was doing and talking about music than he was about himself. He was utterly amazed when I asked for an autograph, which of course I did. And got a little selfie. And what a great gig it was. I have to say, the music was super. I heartily recommend Roberto Restuccio's songs. And also what was a revelation was that Orefo was playing with his forever drummer, who is Wesley Joseph. And as a bass player, you know, you're always looking for that, what I call your lobster drummer. The drummer that you just lock in with and you feel so good when you play with them that it elevates your playing. And my lobster drummer is Teddy Trower from Basharan. I don't always get to play with him because he's a very busy boy, but when I do, I feel utterly relaxed and completely able to look for spaces, think of different things to play. And I could just tell between Wesley and Orefo, there's just this lovely communication, this yumminess as they listen to each other with complete faith and confidence and are inspired by each other, leaving each other spaces to join in. So special. And also Ollie Silk was on the keyboards, and he was absolutely brilliant. Really exciting band to watch all together. So that was, you know, that felt like a really good omen that I've met Orefo now, as has Mark, and we're really in the last stages of preparation for Saturday night. And before I head off, I'm going to say, do a shout out actually to Ed Hinton, who is a young man who's very interested in music and lives in the South End area, and he's been watching all of our episodes. So hello to you, Ed, and thank you so much for supporting everything that we're doing at Glitterball. It really does make a difference to have you subscribed and watching, so thank you very much. I'll be back on Tuesday with more information about how the gig went. Okay, wish us luck. Take care. Bye-bye.